People are still reusing passwords. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by TextExpander by Smile, the makers of world-class software. Visit textexpander.com/podcast to learn more and download your free demo. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's MacVoices Live. It's Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And we are live on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We'd love for you to be live with us in the chat room. But if you can be, and if you can't, that's perfectly all right. You may be sleeping or otherwise occupied. So plan on being here next week at the same time and join us then. So we have a bunch of topics tonight, just a bunch of little hit and miss topics. Some of which I gathered up from the news today, some of which are coming up. But I'm going to start out with the first one that, we're going to go around the room and introduce everybody. I'm getting so anxious to get to the topics that I'm skipping things. So who's here? First up, Mr. David Ginsburg. David, good to have you.
Good to be here. And there should be some good topics because the news is just filled. My head's almost exploding. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, and a lot of the topics I have aren't even related to what's exploding your head. So yeah, there you go. Good. Jeff Gamet is also here. Welcome, Mr. Gamet.
Chuck, it is just so awesome to see you. And I want to point out that I absolutely love your attention to the details. And what I'm referring to is you always look so sharp, and every week your lighting matches your shirt.
Yeah, that's kind of become a thing. I'm not quite sure how it happened. I think it happened by accident the first time, and then I started doing it, and people seem to like it. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how the yellow was.
You give yourself credit. You stopped and figured out, what am I wearing today, which, is increasingly uncommon.
Well, more than most, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
That's my sartorial sense, I guess. I don't know. Brittany Smith is here. Brittany, welcome. Good to have you from a different locale and a different mic.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for having me. At least until I have to go make dinner.
Okay. Yeah, well, they can wait.
What are we having?
Who knows? It's a very limited range.
Okay, yes. We'll have to do cooking with Brittany one night.
Oh, gosh. It could be awful for everyone.
There we go.
It looks like Andrew's ready to cook.
I am.
He doesn't even have to leave the show. He can turn it into a cooking show. We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah.
Andrew's cooking with gas over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of looks like he's cooking with microwaves.
Yeah.
No, he's got gas down there too.
There is one fancy teapot back there.
Okay, somehow we got to Andrew, but that's fine. Yeah. Andrew, good to have you. I'm so
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, good to be here. It has been a busy couple of weeks with all this Apple stuff.
Yeah,
very.
And Andrew is on his AirPods mic simply because he's not at his usual location, but it doesn't matter. It's because it's Andrew. It's all good. Live from his basement, Mr. Warren Sklar. Warren, it's good to have you here, especially under your circumstances. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm living a dream, becoming a statistic and all that good stuff tonight. It's good to be here. Did I miss you guys last week? I think I did. So, it's been an interesting day. We'll talk about that another time. But glad to be here.
Yeah, we're definitely glad to have you. Please take care of yourself.
Thanks.
Let's see. Kelly Guimont is here. Welcome, Kelly. Good to have you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, I have something in mind for you tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that should scare her. Yeah. Nice. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chuck, now who's scared?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that was Kelly's Bruce Lee imitation, and it's terrifying. Last but absolutely not least, Mr. Jim Rea has joined us. Jim, welcome.
Living the dream here too.
Glad to hear it. And we have one more panel member. We hope he makes it back because he was having to restart his machine. So we will greet him appropriately when he gets here with a lot of jeers and or Shears. I'm not sure which.
Yes.
First topic up tonight. Jim brought it up that as we are doing this, recording this, or if you're with us live, MacStock is only a few days away. And of course, it's virtual this year. And so if you hear this in time, I believe you can still go and sign up, especially since it is virtual.
You can.
So you can, David?
Since I've been with Mike the last 2 weeks, I kind of have a fill in here. He stopped the VIP sales, so that's been closed at this point. So there's no more tickets available for the in-person event, but the virtual and you can get a pass as well to review the recordings later. Those are both still available. Virtual is free. So if you just want to sign up and join us in the chat, I'll be moderating the chat rooms and all the other different things we'll be doing on Saturday. So come check it out. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And to be fair, the the VIP tickets were for a very, very, very limited number of seats that Mike was doing at a local restaurant. So it's not like if I can't get the VIP ticket, I'm not going to do it, because you probably weren't going to go to Woodstock, Illinois anyway at this point. So by all means, sign up. I know I'll be online. Obviously, David will. I'm not sure how many other folks here are planning on attending. Okay, Kelly at least.
Well, Kelly's speaking, so she kind of has to be there.
Oh yeah, Jim's going. So yeah,
can I come virtually?
Yeah,
sure. That's the whole point.
I'm not going. I'm just virtually going.
Virtual.
For some reason, my next 2 weeks opened up. I have a lot of time. So
good. There you go.
Wow.
Are you going in person, Chuck? You said you were going to, I think.
I had hoped to, but it's not going to work out for me. So that's just the way it is. But I will definitely be online. So as well.
Guy Searle will be there with me.
Is there? I haven't seen. I haven't seen any. Is there any communication? I got emails last year. I don't remember getting much as far as joining this year.
You could go to the website, macstockconference.com, and sign up there.
All right.
But I think it's macstockconference and expo.com.
Macstock conference works too.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
I think Mike has a bunch of them that all alias back to the main
If you really
site.
want to go, macstock2022.com works as well.
So does instant messaging David Ginsburg to give me the link. That might work too. So
Yeah, there you go.
I'll put it there in the
part
chat.
of that, you could just Google MacStock 2021 and probably get a link.
I'll put it in the chat.
Just guessing.
Yeah,
You're right.
but it's going to be a fun day. Mike, I know Mike wrestled with the idea of doing it in person this year, and just finally had the circumstances beyond his control, and not just the fact that we are in a partial lockdown, especially in Illinois, but there were just some other things that he just didn't work out. And so we had a great time virtually last year. We're going to have a great time virtually this year. So by all means, please join us. You'll learn a lot. You'll have a lot of laughs, and you never know what might happen, because that's just the way virtual events go.
So real quick, if Guy's not doing the virtual, what did he do? The break thing last time?
The game show.
Well,
the
no, he
game
did the
show?
game show, but during he used to interview the hallways, right? During the real one. So during the virtual one, he had a whole thing where he was doing it through the app. So, and he was good at it. So I'm wondering what he's doing this year, if he's actually there. So
Yeah, there'll be some details. So that's coming out. There's a chat platform that he may be able to do that. I probably will as well. So we'll both be very active in there.
Yeah.
We never know what Guy's going to do at
true.
any given moment.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
He might be in Dave's house right now as we speak.
Well, he will be on Thursday, so
good luck.
yeah.
And I also at this point want to welcome in the chat room. They've been throwing some comments in. Webb is here wearing a tie and pants. It's been clarified, but not a jacket.
I feel horribly underdressed now.
I know. I mean, I'm usually the guy with the tie on, and Webb has me outclassed.
Jeff, with your black shirt on, it actually just looks like you're a floating head. to be honest with you. So we don't know what you're really wearing underneath there.
Kind of like that idea.
Well, see, if you got here early enough, David and I do. We know what's going on.
That's
down
true.
there.
Yes.
They both
We do.
saw me.
Okay,
below the
I
waist.
take issue with that entire assessment of the situation. I'm not
I-
convinced either of you have any idea what's happening.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, because well, never mind how we know. We just know. So
We know.
But
Yes, we do.
Jeff-
No.
If Jeff's just going to be a floating head, I feel like now, like, you should grant wishes like John B. and, Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho.
I could do that.
Okay.
Or maybe I could be like the little fire guys from Labyrinth.
Yes. Oh, I like that too.
Okay.
Right.
pop culture references all over the place. Some of which I know, some of which I don't.
I got the Pee Wee one. That was better.
So let's see. Brad in the chat rooms is
Your
apparently
wish is
challenging my matching shirt and light, saying that if I ever have a plaid shirt, then the walls will be interesting. Yeah, that's true. and lastly, and Brittany, Webb is trying to help you out. He suggests toast for dinner.
Toast? Do you think my nephew will go for that?
Can't go
Put cheese
wrong.
on it.
It's possible. I mean, that's how you sell it to me, Kelly.
It was a safe bet.
Oh, man.
I mean, you are
Okay.
related.
I'll try it out. Thanks, Webb.
Yeah. So the next topic I have is specifically for Andrew, because it came from an article he had on the Mac Observer today.
Wait,
It
what was
just said-
first?
Mac
Stock.
Okay.
where were you?
I didn't know it was a topic. That's all. I just
Oh.
thought we were just talking about it to make sure everybody knew. Like, okay.
Well, that's called a topic. Never mind. So Andrew,
I'll go back to
and-
my cider.
yeah, Andrew, you sent my blood pressure up with this again.
Oh,
70% of people use the same password for multiple websites. I mean,
yes.
That low?
What do we have to do
See-
to get
see-
people to stop this?
Okay. Andrew and I are like, oh, thank God it's down to 70%.
Yeah, I work with real people. Like, I'm surprised that it's
Yeah.
that low.
You can tell who works in like InfoSec and who doesn't based on their reaction to that headline, I think.
So actually, let me find this headline because there were some specific details. Hang on, if I can find this.
And if you're like
Like-
somebody in my life who will definitely listen to this, we're excited that they're slightly different, even though they're all variations of year of birth and initial.
Oh God.
Could do what Microsoft's doing, and they're trying to get rid of the passwords altogether by the authenticators and biometrics and things like that. So.
Thing. I've
Okay,
never
here we go.
successfully logged into a Microsoft account, even with a password.
Well, they said you could actually
There
get
is
rid of the
that.
password at that point, and if you want to get it back, you could get, I don't know, something like that. But
Yeah, so Brittany, the great thing is that means you won't be able to log into your Microsoft accounts with a dongle now instead of a password.
Okay, so same result. Somebody wants to do something over Skype, and I have a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
Yep.
Andrew,
So-
proceed.
So this is from PC Mag. They did a survey of a little over 1,000 adults, and their results show that a full 70% of the respondents admitted that they use the same password for more than one thing. And then the specific answers are more than one thing sometimes, 25%, most of the time 24%, or all of the time 21%. But of course, 21%, 25%, that's still too much. Like Kelly and I, we always say, and on Security Friday, you need a password manager.
We don't care which one. You just need one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to judge you for using if Microsoft has some sort of keychain situation. If
They're
you're
still
using
too complicated.
iCloud keychain instead of LastPass, or if you're using LastPass instead of Dashlane, or whatever it is, as long as you've got something that takes care of that for you, that's the part that's important. And we're just more excited to get you using one at all, more
Yeah.
than being all kinds of specific about which one it needs to be. So.
they're still
Yeah,
too
no.
complicated for the normal person, though. LastPass and all that is still not
Well, iCloud Keychain has gotten a lot better. This is also a thing Andrew and I have covered on Security Friday. Time-based one-time passwords, the little 6-digit code you can get texted to you. Getting that code via text message itself is not very secure, but having the time-based one-time password is actually a good way. And as of iOS 15, which I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say is probably another topic we're going to talk about later. That's one of the things that you can enable in there and let it take care of those for you. So there's even more things that you can make it harder for people to get your information and be able to do stuff like this. So that's also a thing that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think I always forget the specific wording, but we always say the best password manager you have is like one that is default on your accounts.
This edition of MacVoices is supported by Smile, the makers of TextExpander, a world-class productivity utility. I've told you about how I use TextExpander as an individual who has lots of projects going at any given time, and a few of the ways it helps me get done what I need to get done and what I want to get done. But if you have a team, the importance of TextExpander jumps exponentially. Why? Because each member of your team can now answer customer service inquiries with a high degree of consistency and accuracy. Each member of the team can access the snippets you create to answer sales inquiries, tech support messages, and more. You can be assured that they're giving out the right information to the right people at the right time, each and every time. They can also tap into the power of TextExpander for their own use too, to make sure that any words they frequently misspell are automatically corrected and their email signatures are accurate. And that's just the start. What snippets would you create for your team, knowing that they can have instant access to them and that you can update them at any time? I want you to find out what TextExpander can do for your team right now by going to textexpander.com/podcast. Sign up for a 30-day free trial or just jump right in. You will wonder how you ever lived without TextExpander. Again, that's textexpander.com/podcast. Thanks to Smile, the makers of TextExpander, for being the longest-running sponsor of MacVoices.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be that hard. And to your point, Kelly, Apple has given you a very decent password manager built in, and it will ask you as soon as you log into something, do you want to save this?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want LastPass, 1Password, Dashlane, whatever, with all the extra features that they have, at least use what they've given you. Please don't ignore it. And God, don't keep using the same passwords over and over.
And Warren is still right, though. Even with something as basic as keychain, people don't use it.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Warren that it's too complicated for most people. I think if you sit down and give it a chance, that it actually will work better, that it works really well for most people most of the time.
So I work with a lot of old people, but what I could tell you is people panic.
So do I.
But people panic when they see your password's going to be gobbledygook, because that's a panic, because there's no way I'm going to ever remember that if things go wrong. And that never, so that's a problem. And it's,
I run up against the same thing.
Yeah. So
there are other problems. Occasionally, a particular website or app doesn't offer to save it. It does not trigger the thing that says, would you like me to save this password, even in iCloud? So I can't in good conscience tell someone they can 100% rely on that. That means they rely on it 0.
Oh, there's lots of problems. If even just today, I redid one of my devices, and when it boots up, it wants the Apple password, and of course, I don't have it because the LastPass isn't installed on where I need to go. And if you don't have another device, and you're stuck. So, it's not a perfect system out there, and people are scared that they'll be locked out of their accounts because they don't remember what the password is, and that's why people make passwords the same all over the place so they can try to remember it. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
No, I absolutely 100% understand your point. I also work with a lot of people, not just older people, but I work with people who are really not technical. And like the thing that they do in their life has nothing to do with a computer and only incidentally maybe has something to do with their phone. And so like for those folks, like I just need it to work. I just need it to do the thing, like whatever that is, like that can be a hard sell. The thing that I would tell people almost more than have a password manager is that when you fill in those security questions, no one's going to check your work. So this is a thing that I think blows people's minds a lot. Like that thing that says your mother's maiden name, don't put it. Like, especially if you use a password manager, go make it something else. And that makes it harder for someone else to get in, because if they do get your mother's maiden name, if they do get the name of your, what was the first car you drove, if they do get the street that you lived on when you were 7, like it doesn't do them any good, because if they enter the correct information, it's not what you gave it. So I know the point of those questions is to make them easy things for people to answer, but especially if you have a password manager, you can set that to be, whatever you want. And no one's going to call you and go, the street, hi, this is the website you just signed up on. The street you lived on when you were a kid was not Argle Bargle Unga Bunga 26. We're pretty sure. So you're going to need to go fix that and make it the right thing. That's not happening.
People, including
Simply not
myself,
happening.
sometimes I forget the correct answer I put for those questions, that I put down.
Yeah, I mean, even better. Like, what's your favorite candy? Like
I don't remember.
I don't know, today, I just ate a roll of Smarties. So that's the thing I'm going to write down. 2 years from now when you need it, I don't know what I wrote down. So that would be a thing I would also point out to people, especially as you're getting into password managers, is like, let them fill that stuff out too. And you can use, I don't know, Andrew, you may have to correct me on this. I don't know if iCloud Keychain will generate passwords that are words yet, the way like 1Password and Dashlane and stuff will.
I don't think it does. The other problem is iCloud Keychain is for passwords. It doesn't have any notes field where you can say, hey, this was my security question. Because I was doing that, and I've been transitioning to iCloud Keychain to test that out full time. And I can't do any of that there.
Yeah. So that would be like, if you are using a password manager, if you're using one that generates words, you can have it give you something that you could easily type into one of those fields, so you could have it be, glass, tape, headphone, whatever,
Well, Kelly,
like
you can even make those answers gobbledygook too. I mean,
but if you do it in a password manager, they save it for you automatically, and it's nice if you have to type it again later. So
I grant you that, and
or tell someone on the phone. That's why I know this one is because I ran into it when I had to give somebody the and what was the city you were born in, and I'm like QLVX972 hashtag. It didn't go well, so that's when I started using the word ones for that. So
and I was going to say,
I am totally fine with those people having brain meltdowns when, like when you're on the phone with your phone carrier, and they need to verify your mother's maiden name, and you say, "All right, I have to spell it for you: lowercase x, uppercase y / hashtag dot A7943," and they are completely lost, but eventually they get through it. And I'm like, great. I just help them burn new neural pathways.
So as an IT guy, and Dave too, what's the hardest part of being an IT person? You're muted. You're muted, Dave, but you said passwords, and it is. Actually, it's printers first, maybe, and then passwords. So
printers and passwords.
Yeah. So that life would be.
That's to name a few.
Yes.
But I just got a message from somebody who said, I need to send you a work message that said, I need to talk to you about my printer. And I said, good, I'll brush up on my profanity.
Yeah. So
that's right.
It's so a normal 1 hour, not even a normal half-hour job at any site turns into double with the passwords. And especially when you go down the Apple route, it's a rabbit hole, because then you have to, you got to figure out what the iCloud password is. And then they're like, well, we'll send the reset to your email address. Oh, I don't know my email address password. So it becomes a thing. Yeah. What do you guys think, Jeff and Kelly and all that, about the authenticators going forward with that? Because I think,
yes, please.
I think that's the way to go. And I think if they could get away with passwords, like Microsoft's trying to do, that could be better.
If it's a thing that's easy to manage and explain, then by all means roll it out for everybody left, right, and center. Like sometimes it's hard for some folks
on it though. Like, no. You can't go off half cocked on it though, because if it's not like infallible, you will do the worst thing ever and make people wish they had passwords again. And no one wants that. Yeah. So it really has to be infallible, not HomeKit level reliable, like, up in the 99%, I can trust it.
Yeah.
Or otherwise you really can't roll it out to.
Well, right now, the authenticators are a password authentication system, right? So somebody puts in the password and then it pops up with the authenticator.
It's like a follow up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% for multi-factor. I think it just makes things safer on a fundamental level, as long as it's being used the way it should be used, and that's the part that can be hard.
As a fun thing, just real fast with Microsoft, I get at least once every other day somebody trying to log into my Microsoft account from the West Coast, and every time I go in there and I say, this is not me, Microsoft just says, oh, no, you don't have to do anything. We're just telling you, which I find cute every time, because it's like secure your account and somebody's trying to get into you, secure your account. And I hit secure your account. And they're like, no, you're good. So, but it works again, for the most part. And we use it a lot for work, the authenticators, especially with biometrics. So if you have Face ID, Touch ID, whatever you have on these devices, you're not really worrying about passwords at that point. You're just authenticating it.
But you're freaking Brittany out.
Why?
How often does this happen that you get them from the wrong location?
Every other, like a lot. And then,
why?
Oh, well, it gets, so I get that. And then I got somebody that logged into, actually added an account to my Xbox account. And I did some work. I found the PO box where the mailing address went to this guy. I called the company with the PO box, and they're like, yeah, we know this guy. We got rid of him. So, people could actually get into your account and add things to your account, which is what they did. They added a second address to my Microsoft account and tried to buy things and have it sent there. But the authenticator, I think that was pre-authenticator, and I think that's probably what's still happening and unsuccessfully. So it's been all right.
The one thing about the authenticators that I find just a little frustrating, and I mean, I agree, I think they're great. The trouble is now that there are multiple authenticators out there.
Yeah.
So now instead of remembering a password, I have to remember what authenticator, which site used.
Yeah.
And that gets a touch frustrating.
Some of them, a lot of them, even though they don't necessarily say they will work with all of them. So if you want to use the one in your password manager, you can. Usually it's just like if you have a Google account, it'll go use Google Authenticator, use something else. And you have to know to go to use something else, and then you can. Microsoft is the same way. Do you want to use the Microsoft Authenticator or something else? And it can be something else. And then if you use, like I use Authy, and I have a Google account in Authy. I have a Microsoft account in Authy. I have like a variety of other things in Authy that are places that also offer their own authentication system that I don't have to, that I don't necessarily have to use, but I can use the multi-factor effectively. And so that's an easy one as well. Sometimes, like a couple of times I've had to go log in, like look up, does it work? Does this work with this authentication setup, but for the most part, yeah, they will. You might have to go a slightly different route because you're not using like the default setting for that. But once it's set up, I've never had trouble with the password authentication thing being the thing that was keeping somebody from logging into their account. If they're using multi-factor, it's not usually the factor that's the problem.
But we're right back to the same. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you do it. If not, I'll do it after you do.
Okay, so how do we make this approachable for the muggles? Because if this creates any level of resistance,
they're out.
Stress level is going to go way up, just like Brittany and Warren have been saying, and they are out. And you give them one bad experience, they are not coming back. You have lost them forever.
Yes. Yeah. And and Jeff, you took the words right out of my mouth. What Kelly just described is very understandable to all of us, makes sense, and we would kind of know probably if it supports multiples, we probably recognize most of those. Other people will say, "What's this? I'm lost. I'm going back and put in password 123," and that's just not good. I want to bring Brad in the chat room has been very prolific in his comments. He's been having his own little conversation right along beside us. But one of the things he said that I think we need to just touch on a little bit is all one needs is a pencil and a ruled pad, but a text edit file or spreadsheet would do too. A column for username, one for password, and one for effective date. I guess it's better than nothing, but the trouble is somebody can take that pad, maybe not the text edit file, but somebody can lift that pad and now you have a whole nother set of problems. So, and we all know people whose passwords are written on a sticky note in the very Hollywood thing of the sticky note is right there on the monitor, that says password. And it's like, well, what are you going to do with that?
They don't even have to have someone come and take the pad of paper. All you need is a water pipe that bursts and floods the room and soaks the paper, and now you can't read anything you wrote on it, and you've lost all your passwords. Or, heaven forbid, your house burns down. And but either way, you have lost all the passwords. No one came and took them from you; they're just gone.
Or go to go to Office Max and buy the thing that actually says internet passwords.
The little notebook.
The little booklet.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jeff, you are absolutely right. But see, that's interesting. You're coming at it from the perspective of the user losing his passwords. I'm coming at it from the perspective of somebody stealing those passwords. But both approaches are right, one way or another. It's probably better than nothing. It's definitely better than reusing passwords, but it's still not a good idea.
It is, but okay. Yeah. Check to make it even worse. If someone steals your passwords, you've lost your passwords.
Yeah,
because now you don't even have that pad of paper.
Yeah, true.
So the
reset them.
So the reset. So I tell people resetting. People who freak out about the passwords and the complex, I say you can always reset them. I've seen, as I said, there's a few times where if somebody really is good, they go in to the account and they change the primary email address and they change the primary SMS verification, and that's it. So that's when it gets bad, and I've seen it happen in Facebook, and I've seen it happen with Outlook.com, where somebody could come in there if they get your password, they could go in there and quickly change the primary, and then they get even smart with Outlook, where they could put a forwarding to their own email address in that in that Outlook. So basically, they get all your email too. So it's things like that you got to watch out for. But you got to be targeted for the most part for that. And there's the authenticator would save you, I guess, if that's what's going to happen in that case. And that's what the path I put these people on that happened to it. And Facebook has authentication too, and I turned that on as well. There's if you log into a new device for Facebook, there's a way to turn on Authenticator, and there's you can use an Authenticator app to authorize that browser.
And Apple's already added the Authenticator to iOS 15. If we're gonna touch upon that, now you have it built into the password section of the settings app, and that's a game changer because it's all in one place. If someone doesn't want to use Authy or Google Authenticator or even Microsoft for that matter, it's in a place that's going to be secure within the passwords app of the settings on iOS 15.
Yeah, Brad is arguing with us in the chat room. His point is the same flood that would run the computering, and you're the backup next to it as well.
A backup.
Well, you got to go for the 333 backup system.
Right.
Well, it depends on what the password's for. If the password's for something online, then it's not.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right, Andrew. Back that, or I'll pick on 1Password because I don't know about the others. But 1Password is storing that all encrypted on their servers for me. So all I have to do is log back into the account, and all my passwords come right back.
Mm-hmm. And some password managers let you store your database on cloud servers, like it could be on Dropbox.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jerry in the chat room says Duo Security makes it easier to use multi-factor. I find a lot of my users like it. So yeah, there are a lot of solutions out there. The big trick is getting people to use them, because it just takes that 5-minute learning curve and that extra second to pay a little bit of attention. But
Right.
a couple of weeks ago, we talked about me wanting my credit cards hacked, and don't even get me started about having one of your more important accounts hacked. I mean, that's almost worse than the credit cards, because the credit card, at least the banks are monitoring that stuff. If somebody hacks one of your accounts and you don't know it, they can be purchasing things and you're not going to be aware of it. They can be posting things under your name that you would rather not have posted, or pictures that you would rather not have associated with your name. There's so many bad things that somebody can do that's almost worse to have one of your accounts hacked. So the panel will be back in the next edition of MacVoices to continue a security-themed discussion. This time we will talk about some of the steps that Apple is taking with the Apple Card to help protect you when you're making purchases. We also touch on a podcast offering that is new out there through Apple Podcasts, and start a discussion of iOS 15. That's next time on MacVoices, and I hope you'll join us as always. Until then, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.